Shape the Future, façonner le futur. Quoi de plus logique pour commencer cet événement que de parler de la forme du futur. What's the shape of the future? Gilles Mautin va nous parler de l'importance de la vision dans les entreprises. Il est fondateur et il dirige la première école dédiée à l'entrepreneuriat en France. Et je lui laisse tout de suite la parole.
So, what will be the shape of the future? The initial pitch was how to survive in troubled times. And I was saying this is really, it gave me some headache about thinking about, should I give you a recipe for survival in the future? This would be hard. So instead of looking ahead, I looked a little bit in the past, and I looked on all the companies that we know are surviving and thriving yet. They went through turbulent times. We know of Apple, we know of BlaBlaCar, we know of a small company called Optimiam, one of the companies that we helped accelerate. Even ourselves, the Cantillon, my company, is also always been and always will be in troubled times. What makes it that whatever happens, we survive? What makes it that you will survive whatever will happen? Where do the founder of those companies find the strength, find the energy to transform themselves into real entrepreneurs, to gather and to acquire more customers, more people with them, whatever happens? It's surviving. The definition itself of surviving in the future means that you have to acquire resilience, talents. You want people to work for you, right? You want to also acquire customers, because without customers you don't have a company. And you want maybe to have also to acquire investments, investors, money. How do you do this? When I looked at all those companies, I realized that if they do this, if they do realize, it's because they got something that we call the vision. My vision, my belief, is that people should be independent, should be autonomous, and should be able to shape the future, to change time, to change and to impact the world that is important for them. I believe that you should be independent, that you should be autonomous, and you should be able to impact the world that you really care. This is a vision. This is what makes a difference between long-term and short-term. This is what will help you to survive. Usually when you communicate this vision, and when you build about this vision, this is how you think. You think about something, you have an idea. I'm sure that most of you have ideas. You think of an idea, and then from that idea you build a plan. And from that plans you have tasks. And once you have done this for yourself, maybe in a small group, you go out and you try to recruit people. You try to recruit customers. And you start with the task. This is what you should do. Some of you are technology oriented, they know about technology. You're looking for a marketer to take account and to manage this Facebook campaign. And you just do this. You just go out and you look for a manager, you look for a marketer, an expert, and you ask him to manage this Facebook campaign. Tasks. The other way around works as well. How many of you have been approached by marketing people, by sales guys, by business people, and they ask you to build a website, to build another app? You're capable of so much more. So are business guys. They also know a lot more than just managing Facebook ads. They know about strategy, you know about algorithm, they know about organization, you know about artificial intelligence. So what makes a difference? When you communicate this way, by task, maybe you talk about the plan, this is to have the big picture, and you expect some actions taken by that person. But it doesn't work. Why is it not working? What makes it that it's not working? Why is it so complicated to actually make this happening? And this is really key. Simon Sinek explained it very, very beautifully in a TED talk in 2005. And he came up with the idea of the golden circle. It's the why, how, and what. What is what you do, your product, your service. How is how you do it with the people, with money, with tools, maybe with a differentiator on the market, and why is why you do it. What he realized and this is what I just explained to you as well, is that most people, usually they talk about the what and the how. Eventually they talk about the why, and it doesn't work. The remarkable leaders, they go the opposite. They start with the why. They talk about the why, and then the how, and then the what. It works so much better this way. Why is it working like this? That's because people tend to buy why you do it. It drives action. They don't buy what you do. Think about this. Who wants to buy another app? I don't know for you, but my phone is saturated with apps. I don't have memory available. It doesn't matter. I don't buy an app just to buy an app. I want to buy an app because it's useful for me. So I buy it for a reason. I buy it why the person, the team, the company that built the app has built it, is to solve a problem. Why am I buying it? It's because it's useful to me. You always have to start with why. They don't buy what you do. Once you find your right why, the good why, people will, you will just wake up in the morning to follow that dream, to pursue that dream and that reason for living, that why of yourself. When you have the right why, the teams that you gather together will work for you. They will wake up in the morning. They will work their ass off to make it happen. When you have a good why, customers will work at their office or in the field or wherever to gain the money to buy your app, to buy your product, to buy your service. Once you find the good why, anything can happen. Why is it working this way? Well, Simon Sinek says that the brain is composed of two systems, of two places. It's the limbic system, and on one side, and on the other side, it's the neocortex. The neocortex is in charge of reasoning. It understands words. It understands numbers. And it doesn't drive behaviors. It doesn't drive the act of buying. The act of buying, the action, the behaviors, this is the limbic system. To understand really how these two brains are related, I will introduce you to Daniel Kahneman. Daniel Kahneman is the Nobel Prize of 2002, and what he studies is behavioral economics. Basically, it studies why do we humans behave the way we do, even if it defies all logic. And he came up with his own explanation, is that the brain has two systems, the thinking fast system and the thinking slow system, the system 1 and the system 2, the slow brain and the fast brain. And the brain to himself, as Daniel Kahneman describes it, it's a Pareto machine. The brain is capable of working at 20% of energy, and it can take 80% of the 35,000 decisions we take every day. Yes, on average, we take about 35,000 decisions and acts. 80% of those decisions are made with a part of the brain that uses only 20% of energy that the body can create. The other part, the 20% of decisions that are complex to take, it requires 80% of the energy produced by the body to make it work. Just think about this example. And I'm sure you can realize it just after the show, or you can probably think about a situation that is exactly the same. Interview someone in the street or in the campus or wherever, and start walking and ask him questions, basic questions, such as, what is your favorite color? What is the weather? What do you want to eat today? And then, the further you go, ask further more complex questions. What did you eat yesterday? Why is it that you want to, I don't know, for the next election, for the next poll, you want to vote right or left? What are the influences that will make change your mind to vote on one side or the other? Interesting question. And this is probably what your interviewee will say, let me think about it. And you know what will happen at this moment? That person will stop walking to think about it. Why that? Because 80% of the energy of the body is required by the brain to think about it. It can no longer walk. I don't know if you understand and you realize really how much energy is required by complex thinking. Now the next question is, how do you decide to mobilize, how does your brain decide to foster, to mobilize 80% of the body, of the energy of the body, to a task of thinking? It's the fast brain who decides that. And the fast brain doesn't understand words, doesn't understand numbers, it only understands feelings. So you have to talk to that feelings, you have to talk to that brain with feelings. The feelings, it's rather easy. Robert Plutchik, sorry for the name, Plutchik, described the feeling, the basic feeling as 8. The basic feelings are joy, trust, fear, surprise, sadness, disgust, anger, anticipation. Once you communicate those joys, those feelings, once you communicate those feelings to the right part of the brain and you start with this, people will be ready to believe in you and to follow you. They've already bought what you're selling. They just need the rationale behind it, and they will need probably more facts. So great, we have seen this. We know that now behaviors are triggered by emotions, and you should look for emotions. That is the general principle. But what I'm interested here now is to give you also something else, just an exercise, to help you find your own emotions, to find your own why. And for this, I'm going to relate on Ikigai. Ikigai is a Japanese word that means raison d'être. It means why, it means purpose. And for the Japanese, it is at the intersection of what you love to do, of what you're very good at doing, what you can be paid for, and what the world needs. This is why you should wake up in the morning. Interestingly enough, the Ikigai is coming from a small island in Japan, and all the people are, from the beginning, from birth, they're given this model of thinking. It takes their entire life really to master it. But what happens with those people is that they all live beyond 100 years old. Once you find it, the future is yours. You will live longer. So this is a concept, but I'm going to give you also the questions that you should ask, the 12 questions that you should ask yourself to help you build this why you should wake up in the morning and why you should do and why should anybody care about what you're doing. These are the questions. What do you love to do as a kid or when not working? What do you love to do because you always dreamt of doing them? What do you do well at home, at school, at the office, at work, with your friends? What can you be paid for? Because you already receive money for this, because this is your work, or because you know that you can do something that are very, very hard to do, or because maybe this is something that you dream of doing and you know that you can be paid for. And finally, what do you want to change in the world? What is it that the world has too much, not enough, or what would you work on if it was for free for 1 month? Where would you dedicate your time? The list of these questions will be available at the desk at the end of the show if you want to have really work on this. Once you have built your why, you will use it correctly. You'll be able to go to people, go to this coder, developer that you've always dreamed of having, or to this marketer. And you will not tell him, yes, please take care of my Facebook advertising campaign, but you will talk about the dream you have, about the why you're here, and they will figure out a way to do it. You will use it to find partners, you will use it to find customers, you will use it to find investors, you will use it to find yourself. It can be used in many, many different ways as well. This is Amy, this is my daughter, she's 14 years old, and we had a very, very serious conversation last week. In the car, she told me, you know, Daddy, I'm afraid of the future. I'm afraid because I don't know what to do. I'm not afraid of the future at the end of the year because this is something that I know, this is the end of the scholarity and I've got this BEPC, this brevet, but what will I do when I will grow up? What will I do? I don't know what to do. I don't know how to. I have no purpose. She doesn't know her purpose. And so I told her, you know, you should not fear the future anymore. Because you will find, first you will have to find what you love to do. And you will love it too, so much that you will practice it again and again and again until you become very good at it. You will become so good at it actually that people will start to pay you money for you to do it. And if you do it well enough, if you have enough people who help you do, who pay you to do what you do well, maybe you will change the world. Fear not the future. It will be like what you love to do. Find it yourself. Find your own why. Find what you love to do. Find your why. And change the future. Express it with emotions. This is the way to communicate. And the future will have the shape of what you love to do. Thank you.